Fellow patriots, I'm John Parks from Hamilton County, Texas, and this is my son, Pierce Parks. We'd like to tell you a little bit about our next speaker. We got a fan club. Many of you may know that our next speaker worked 3 jobs to put herself through college.
She's a former university coach who taught hundreds of children.
She fought and beat cancer while in her 20s.
She's a hell of a shot at the .357 Magnum revolver.
And she's a devout Christian.
Lord knows she's got her work cut out praying for us.
What you probably don't know about her, and should, is she is truly a great world-class horseman and colt starter. And I alone probably am the only one aware of how courageous she truly is. To trust me with a microphone and a big audience for 2 minutes without her to corral me. She's probably holding her breath right now, probably saying a few prayers that I don't digress and begin to talk about Barry Goldwater, or maybe the possibility of Texas secession. But Texas Republicans should know how much time and effort she has given to grow the number of Texas Republicans. Under her leadership, over 4,000 Texans have been educated through Leadership Institute Texas Tour. Because of her collaboration and efforts with Project Red Tex, the number of Republican candidates in South Texas has increased 870%. She hosted the first inaugural RPT Youth Leadership Summit, and her work throughout the state has redefined the landscape of how Republican Party members engage with females, minorities, and young candidates and voters. May we present to you my wife,
and my mother,
the Vice Chairman of the Republican Party of Texas, Kat Parks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are told to remember the idea and not the man. Because a man can fail. He can be caught, he can be killed and forgotten. When freedom dies, there is no religion or creed except that of the state and its tyrants. When we go from I am free to let me free, it's already too late. What does it take? Do America-hating extremists have to tear down all of our statues for us to finally realize the founding fathers are not coming to save us? What we need in a time such as this are men and women whose valor, courage, integrity, and leadership inspire new statues. Texas, it's time for us to save ourselves. This is a call to action for each of you. I'd like to tell you about what brought me here. Why am I a Republican? I was born one, but that didn't put me on this stage. I was a Reagan baby, a heyday time for the GOP. My mother wore the pearls. My father was a local elected official. But in the beginning, I may have been a reluctant Republican. This may come as a shock to some of you, but even as a child, I tended to go against the grain. God bless my parents, because they sometimes looked at me like the parents of the 50s looked at Elvis Presley. Doling out equally heavy doses of God and Reagan, praying hard that it would take. I went to the polls with my parents as they cast their votes, and I wore knee-length dresses to Sunday school every week. But I can't say that I much liked it or truly understood it. Not then. As a cancer survivor and an ER nurse, I faced down my mortality, my own and that of countless patients. And it was then that I understood God's amazing grace. Politics in some ways is like religion. Like finding God, I had to find the Republican Party for myself. In this instance, my amazing grace was 2 things. First, it was discovering my Republican Party, a party of action, a party of solutions. Not just solutions for college-educated, elite, or wealthy. Solutions for real, working, sometimes forgotten people. Blue-collar folks, men and women of every color and ethnicity, people who prefer worn-in Wranglers and well-loved boots to knee-length dresses and pearls. The party where Trump's words registered to the Black community. What do you have to lose? My party was a party that recommitted itself to jobs for Americans, opportunity and prosperity, purpose for individuals, and the value that America was built on that made us remarkable. But, like tearing down statues, the swamp, the establishment, the media, and the left do everything in their power, not only to tear down those men, but to tear down those ideas. 2016 ushered in something truly remarkable, a new but very old idea, America first. My second realization was that if I do not want this party to succumb to the swamp, the power lies with the people, myself included. Are any of you dissatisfied with some aspect of politics or a politician's actions? Good. Time for you to step up. I'm a Republican because above all, I value not the word freedom, but the truest meaning of being free. Because I will not wait on the government to protect me, nor to provide for me. Because I will not be forced into choosing between wearing a mask and feeding my family. Because I understand that the inflation and the exorbitant gas prices that Americans are suffering from are a direct result of bad policy created by a Democrat president, Democrat Senate, and Democrat House. I'm a Republican because, as Elon Musk said, he was able to build the Giga Texas factory faster than he ever could have gotten the permits for it in a state like California. I'm a Republican because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are known by all, whether you're a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, to be utterly incompetent. I'm a Republican because wokeism has become a state religion that can no longer identify men from women nor up from down. Conversations about sexuality and medical treatment are being hidden from parents by the Democrat-led state, and it is unconscionable. There are many generations of Republicans in this convention hall. My husband is a Barry Goldwater Republican. Maybe you're a Ron Paul Republican, a Bushy, a Reaganite, a Donald J. Trump Republican. What we need now are Republican change makers, both mavericks, workhorses for the cause. We need truth tellers and freedom fighters that pick up the torch and fight for the forgotten and themselves as candidates and volunteers. And I have invited an army of people up on this stage with me. They do the work in the trenches, the quiet work that takes place behind the scenes. It isn't sexy, but this is what holds Texas, and this is what holds the nation. To all of my friends here on the stage, and to all of the workers out there in the audience, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, and Texas thanks you. The strength of Texas lies in individual Texans. Delegates, I don't care what kind of Republican you call yourself. I will not allow wokeism and cancel culture to win. I will not allow the Democrats' progressive insanity to redefine reality. I will not allow the collapse of a great nation. I will always fight alongside you and for you. It has been my greatest honor to serve as your vice chair, but not to worry, I'm not going anywhere. In my final words that I leave as your vice chair, I leave you with this thought. Statues didn't change the world. The people did. I have witnessed firsthand the power of the individual, and I know the power and potential that each of you hold if you stand up, speak up, and fight. Stand with me, Texas. It's not just time to fight, it's time to reclaim the American spirit. And in the immortal words of Ayn Rand, the question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. Join me, Texas.